everyone, this is Tom from VermiBag. I've had quite a few people asking me about the harvest panel on the VermiBag Mammoths. So I have a VermiBag Mammoth laying down here, and I'm actually looking at the inside of the bag down towards the bottom. I have the sides rolled back because I don't have it completely together yet, but just to show you what the harvest panel looks like and what this inner liner looks like. So on each side there is a slot like this. So if the bag was working, this would be in this direction going the other way, because the harvest panel is underneath here, so it would actually be going downward. But pulling it upward here gives the same effect. It shows you what it'll be doing, but in the opposite direction. So you can see for the width, there's only like a 4-inch gap here by about a foot that you'll be harvesting the castings from. So there won't be any issue. You open up a zipper over half of the bag, and this will be the access area that you reach up inside and pull all your castings out of. So you don't have to worry about opening up the bag and everything falling out of it. And you have one panel on this side, and then on the other side of the bag we have another panel basically the same exact size. So, and on this side there's another separate zipper that goes all the way around the outer edge that allows you to get at this side. So again, when you open this thing up, the castings will be just hanging right here at this opening. They're not going to fall out of here unless it was super, super dry. For the most part, they'll sit there, and then you just reach up and you'll harvest half the bag from this side and the other half from the other side. Okay, I flipped the bag over, so now you're looking at the harvest panel area from the bottom. You notice right off the bat there's Velcro strips on each end of the harvest panel. And that's to allow you to open up the harvest panel and attach this side of the harvest panel over to the other side when you're doing the harvest, for it won't get in the way and you won't get it all dirty. So first thing you notice, there's two zippers on each end of the harvest panel. So to access it, you'll open each side, it'll come to the center, and then the harvest panel will open up just to that point right there. So it's like two hinge doors. And again, once you open this, you would open this, bring it over to the other side, and on the other side you'll see there's Velcro strips as well, orientated the same way. And this upper piece will just hook anywhere along this long strip. At that point there, this harvest panel won't fall down, so you're going to have this whole area for harvesting just readily available, and again, it'll keep any castings from falling onto the zipper area, getting this, too dirty. Now, if you do get some casting on the zipper, you can easily, brush them off with a toothbrush or something like that. For the most part, if you get a minor amount on there, it's not going to affect it at all. It's really not a big deal. Every once in a while, if you're running the systems really wet, you'll see a little bit of calcification or like salt forming along the edges where the zipper's attached to it. It's just moisture that's wicking through the material where all these seams are right here. And again, that can easily be scrubbed off with a toothbrush and some water. It doesn't really affect anything, but you'll see it because it'll be a lighter color and stuff. So it's more of a visual thing than anything. Now again, you can see the harvest, or the inner liner in here, and there's your slot that you could see from the other side, and this is the direction that it'll be actually pulling once you get it full of material. And you can see from here down to where the zipper is, depth wise, this is about 4 inches or so roughly. So all the material, the moisture and stuff is all going to be directed down to the bottom here, and this area here is pretty much protected from any moisture, and the zipper. The only material you're going to get in here, sometimes worms will hang out a little bit on here, especially when you first set a bag up. And you'll get some castings, trails all along here and stuff. But once the system's been harvested several times, you'll probably find hardly any worms down in this area. Now I mentioned before too, but the harvest panel on the VermiBag Mammoth and also the Mini and the Max is made out of a Cordura fabric that's water resistant, they say. I found that it's really, really, really water resistant. It's too much so. It's almost waterproof. And this retains quite a bit of water and moisture. So if you're running the system wet, I found that the system could start to kind of fill up with water down here in the bottom. and you absolutely don't want that. The whole idea is to avoid any type of anaerobic conditions. So all VermiBags that I ship out, the Maxes, the Minis, and also the Mammoths, I actually punch holes into the bottom of the harvest panel. Probably on something like this one, this big Mammoth, there's probably 60 holes between both sides at least. You can't even see them. Looking at the bag, you'd never know that it happened. But what it does is it breaks this polyurethane coating that they have here on the side, and it will allow the bottom of the system to form little beads of moisture and to drip out if you're running it too wet. I'll show you the needle I use to do this. So I have a big leather needle that I have, and all I do is before I ship any bag, I just continuously punch holes in the bottom like this. Now again, once you get done punching these, you can't see them at all, but it allows that moisture a place to go. So if you have a system like this and you're running it wet and you're collecting quite a bit of moisture down here, you can feel free to go ahead and add additional holes into the bottom of it. You can use a sharp finishing nail, small, thin one, and punch some more holes in there. A few of the original systems that went out didn't have holes, so I've contacted a lot of those people to suggest to them that they go ahead and punch holes in there to keep this from building up moisture. Now, if you're running the system normal to dry, you're never going to have that issue. But I think most people tend to run a system wet versus dry. So again, if you get a system from me now, it'll already have quite a few holes punched through this liner to allow it to weep out. It doesn't just drip out, pour out of there. It forms these little beads on here, and then they slowly drips out. So that's it in a nutshell. The harvest panel and the inner liner and how they work in conjunction with each other. It's a really simple system to harvest. The inner liner does a fabulous job of protecting the zipper, keeping castings off of it, keeping the moisture off of it. If you need to clean the system because you get the zipper dirty or something, again, use a small toothbrush or something and some water, and you can just scrub it clean and it'll work fine. That's it for today, folks. This is Tom from VermiBag. Till next time, ciao.